Good morning, dear children. So we have completed about critical angle and total internal reflection, isn't it? Do you remember what is total internal reflection? When a ray of light moves from a denser medium to a rarer medium, and if the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, the ray gets reflected back into the same medium, obeying the laws of reflection, isn't it? And this is known as total internal reflection. Now we are going to learn about total internal reflection in prisms. Okay, so we have learned about a triangular glass prism, and we will check how total internal reflection takes place in a prism. We are going to discuss about three different types of prism: total reflecting prism or right angled isosceles prism, equilateral prism, and a right angled prism. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about total internal reflection in three different types of prisms. Which are those prisms? First one is a total reflecting prism, or it's another name. The other name of this prism is a right angled isosceles prism. Second one is an equilateral prism, and the third one is a right angled prism. So first we'll be considering about total reflecting prisms. Okay. So actually this is a right angled isosceles prism. It is also known as total reflecting prism. Do you know what is the reason? Here we are considering a triangular prism, and if a light ray hits on any of the three surfaces or faces of this prism, it undergoes total internal reflection. Okay, a light ray incident on any of the three faces of such a prism undergoes total internal reflection, and this is the reason why we are calling it as a total reflecting prism. Okay, so this is the first type of prism of which we are going to study. Okay, total reflecting prism, or what is the other name? It is right angled isosceles prism. We are calling it as a total reflecting prism. Why? Because a light ray incident on any of the three faces of this prism undergoes total internal reflection. Okay. Now, this type of prism can be used for three different purposes. Okay. A total reflecting prism or a right angled isosceles prism can be used for three different purposes. First one, to deviate a light ray through 90 degree. Second one, to deviate it through 180 degree. And third one is to erect an inverted image. Okay, so there are three uses for a total reflecting prism. First one is it can be used in order to deviate a light ray through 90 degree. Second one, to deviate a light ray through 180 degree. And the third one is to erect an inverted image. So first we will be moving to the first part. So what is the first use? To deviate a ray by 90 degree. Okay, so now we will check how can we deviate a light ray by 90 degree using a total reflecting prism. So here I am considering a total reflecting prism, that is a triangular prism. Let me name it as A, B, Okay, now we are going to check how this prism deviates a light ray by 90 degree. 90 degree എങ്ങനെ അതിനെ തിരിച്ചെടുക്കാം. Okay. So, we are going to consider a light ray which hits on the face AB. A light ray which hits on the face AB. Now, what type of incidence is this? It is normal incidence, isn't it? We have learned about two different types of incidence. Which are they? Normal incidence and oblique incident. Normal means making an angle 90 degree. Slanting ആയിട്ട് വരുവാണെങ്കിൽ that is oblique incidence. So here the light ray hits on the surface AB making an angle 90 degree. So it is a normal incidence. Now, when a ray of light hits on a surface normally, how do refraction take place there? Will it undergo any change or any deviation from its path? We already learned that when a light ray moves from a rarer medium to a denser medium, it bends towards the normal. From denser to rarer, it bends away from the normal. And if it is normal incidence, the ray will move to the second medium without any deviation, isn't it? So since it is normal incidence, and one more thing, before that I should mark the angles of this prism, isn't it? So this is a total reflecting prism or right angle isosceles prism. So this angle is 90 degree, this angle is 45 degree, and this angle is 45 degree. So what is the total measure of a triangle? It is 180 degree, isn't it? So 90 plus 45 plus 45, which is equal to 180 degree. That is the total measure of a triangle. Now, this is 90 degree, 45, 45. Now we are considering a light ray which hits on the surface AB normally. If it is normal incidence, the ray undergoes refraction without any deviation. So the ray will enter into the prism and there won't be any deviation in the path of the light ray. And now it hits on the surface AC. Okay. Now the light ray hits on the surface AC. Is it a normal incidence? No. It's not a normal incidence, isn't it? Because here this angle is 45, this is 90. So naturally this angle is 45 degree. And I'm going to draw the normal here. So what will be this angle? This is 90 degree since it is normal incidence. This is already given as 45 degree. So naturally this angle will be 45 degree, isn't it? Then I have drawn the normal. Angle between incident ray and the normal will be the angle of incidence. So this angle also will be 45 degree. And what about the critical angle for glass air interface? It is 42 degree. We have learned that the critical angle is 42 degree in the case of glass air interface. So, what is critical angle? The angle of incidence in the denser medium for which angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 degree, isn't it? And already we learned that if the ray is moving from a denser medium to a rarer medium, and if the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, the ray won't undergo refraction. Instead of that, it gets reflected into the same medium, isn't it? Here the ray is moving from denser to a rarer medium, but here the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle. Critical angle here it is 42 degree in the case of glass, but here the angle of incidence is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So what happens? The ray undergoes total internal reflection. It won't get refracted. Then it hits on the face BC. And what type of incidence is this? This is normal incidence, isn't it? So what happens? The ray moves undeviated and it comes out. So what happens to this ray? The ray gets deviated by 90 degree. Okay. So one more ray I can show you. we are going to learn how a ray gets deviated by 90 degree using a right angled isosceles prism. For a right angled isosceles prism, one angle will be 90 and the other two angles will be 45 degree each. Here the light ray hits on the face AB. It is normal incidence. So I will consider one more ray. Okay. So I am considering a ray which hits on the surface AB, and what is the specialty of this? It is normal incidence. So the ray will go straight without any deviation. Now here I am going to draw the normal. This angle is 45 when I am considering this particular triangle. This is 90, so naturally this angle formed will be 45 degree. Then this angle of incidence will be 45 degree. How? Because if you are drawing a normal divides it into two halves. In both the halves you will be getting 90 degree. Then here, since the angle of incidence here is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle of glass. How much is the critical angle of glass? It is 42 degree. So the ray will go down obeying the laws of, it gets reflected. Then it hits on the surface BC. Here it is normal incidence, so it will come down. Okay. This diagram is important. You should study how a light ray can be deviated by 90 degree using a right angle isosceles prism. And you have to learn its application also. Can you tell me where are we using this? In which case we want to deviate the light ray by 90 degree? It is in the case of a periscope. Do you remember what is a periscope? If you want to see what is happening on the other side. What is the shape of the periscope? This is the shape of the periscope, isn't it? In the case of submarines, they will be using. Then, in the case of war, if you want to see what is happening on the other side, you can use a periscope. So, in a periscope, instead of a mirror, we can use a prism. And this, using a prism, what happens? The light ray gets deviated or turned by 90 degree. Okay. So, please draw and study this diagram. Okay, I want to see the lecture notes as well as question answers from this section, because these diagrams are very important. Okay, so you can write the heading as total reflecting prism. Then first one, to deviate by 90 degree. Then you have to draw it, and the drawings should be always with pencil. Okay. And use ruler and pencil to draw the diagram. Then you have to write its use. It is used in a periscope. Okay. So these many things should be there. I need the lecture notes also here, because these diagrams are very important. As the main heading you can write total internal reflection in prisms. Then first one, total reflecting prism. A, to deviate a light ray by 90 degree. Then you have to draw the diagram, and after that what you have to write? Where it is used. It is used in a periscope. Okay. So, is it clear? Now the second one, or B, is to deviate a light ray by 180 degree. Okay. So, how can we use a total reflecting prism in order to deviate a light ray by 180 degree? So for this, here also we are considering a total reflecting prism. Draw a little bit bigger one so that it will be visible for you. Okay, so we have the total reflecting prism here. Now we will check how the light ray gets deviated by 180 degree. So for this, I am marking 2 points. Okay, let this point be P and this point be Q. Okay, now A, B, C. This is the 90 degree angle, and these two are 45 degree each. Okay, we have kept the prism in another manner, same reflecting prism, but we have kept it in another manner. Okay, now first we will be considering the light ray from P. We are considering keeping an object like this. Light rays will be coming out in different directions from this, and we are considering just 2 light rays from this. Okay, so first one, a light ray from the point P, and this ray hits on the face BC. And what type of incidence is this? The just 2 things what you have to keep in mind is normal incidence. നേരെയാണ് 90 ഡിഗ്രിയിലാണ് പോയി ഹിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ചേഞ്ചും ഇല്ലാതെ ഡീവിയേഷനും ഇല്ലാതെ ലൈറ്റ് റേ വിൽ ഗോ സ്ട്രേറ്റ്. ഇനി 45 ഡിഗ്രിയിലാണെങ്കിൽ it undergoes total internal reflection. Okay, so keep that point in your mind. Now P, from P the ray hits on the face BC and it is normal incidence. So what happens? It will go without any deviation and it hits on the face AB. So when it hits on the face AB, what happens here? This angle is 90 degree, this angle is 45 degree. So naturally this will be 45 and this also will be 45 degree. That is, the angle of incidence is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So what happens? The ray undergoes total internal reflection. It won't go out. Instead of moving out, it undergoes total internal reflection. And it hits on the face AC. Here also, it hits at an angle 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So it undergoes total internal reflection and it hits on the surface BC. And what is the specialty at BC? What happens here? Here it is normal incidence, so the ray will go down without any deviation. And which point is this? This is the point P, isn't it? Okay, so I have considered a light ray from P. It hits on the face BC, normal incidence, so without any deviation it enters the prism. Then it hits on the face AB. It makes an angle 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So it undergoes total internal reflection and hits on the face AC. Then here again what happens? It makes an angle of incidence 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So again it undergoes total internal reflection. Then it comes down and hits on BC. Here it is normal incidence, so it will go down without any deviation. Now it's not complete. We have to start from Q, isn't it? So from Q I am drawing the next ray. Here what is our aim? We have to deviate the light ray by 180 degree. How can you say that about this 180 degree? ഇങ്ങനെ കിടക്കുന്ന ഒന്നാണെങ്കിൽ 180 ഡിഗ്രി ഡീവിയേഷൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അത് അങ്ങേ സൈഡിലേക്ക് പോകും അല്ലേ. ഇങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ this will be 90 degree deviation. If one is like this and the other is in the opposite direction, that will be 180 degree deviation. So here our aim is to rotate or deviate the ray by 180 degree. So first we have considered the light ray from Q, which hits on the face BC, and since it is normal incidence, what happens? It goes without any deviation. Here also the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle. It is 45 degree. So it undergoes total internal reflection and it hits on the face AC. Okay, here also the angle of incidence is 45 degree. Then what happens? The ray will go down. And which point is this? That is Q. So in which direction did the light ray move? ഇങ്ങനെ കിടന്ന light ray ഇവിടെ നിന്നും ഇങ്ങോട്ടിരുന്ന light ray or the object. This is not the light ray, this is the object. ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് ഇങ്ങോട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്ന object ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് അങ്ങോട്ടായി. So that is rotation by 180 degree. So this is one direction. 90 degree rotation means ഇങ്ങനെ വരും. 180 ആണെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് അങ്ങോട്ടും ഒന്ന് ഇങ്ങോട്ടും വരയ്ക്കും. So here we have turned it by 180 degree. And do you know where is it used? It is used in camera and binocular. Okay, it is used in camera lens and binocular. So once again, Our aim is to use a total reflecting prism to deviate a light ray by 180 degree. So I have kept the object PQ. First I have drawn the light ray from P. Then it hits on the face BC. It is normal incidence, so it will go without any deviation and hits on the face AB. Here the angle of incidence is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So the ray undergoes total internal reflection and reaches the face AC. There also angle of incidence is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So it will go down without any, so that it will undergo total internal reflection and hits on the surface BC. Here, since it is normal incidence, the ray gets refracted without any deviation. Same thing I have done from Q also. So what you can see is PQ angotarunna object, but this side when you are getting the reflected one, it is in this direction. That is, the ray gets reflected by 180 degree, and it is used in a binocular or camera. Okay, so is it clear? This also you should draw in your notebook. You can write deviate a light ray by 180 degree. Then what you can say, you have to draw the diagram, then write its application. Okay, it's very important. Now the third use is to erect an inverted image. So we will check how a total reflecting prism can be used in order to erect an inverted image. So you have an image in an inverted manner, that is an image which is in an upside down manner. So using a total reflecting prism, we can erect it, we can make it straight. Okay, so we'll check how it can be done. So I have the prism A, B, C. Let this be 90 degree and these two angles be 45 degree each. Okay, so here we have the object PQ. We have the object on this side, and actually let this be the inverted object. Okay, here the arrow mark is like this. That is, it is an inverted object and you are going to make it erect using this prism. Okay, so first we will be considering a light ray which comes from Q. In the two previous cases, it was normal incidence. Do you remember? When we were deviating the light ray through 90 degree as well as 180 degree, at first the ray was hitting the surface normally. So since it was normal incidence, the ray was moving or entering the second medium without any deviation. But in this case, it is not normal incidence. Here it is, since it is not normal incidence, what happens? I'll draw the normal here. Here the ray is moving from a rarer medium to a denser medium. If a ray of light is moving from a rarer medium to a denser medium, what happens? It bends towards the normal. So the ray bends towards the normal and then it hits on the face BC. Here the angle of incidence is 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle of glass. So what happens? Since it is greater than the critical angle of glass, here what happens is the ray undergoes total internal reflection. Okay, the ray undergoes total internal reflection, and here I will be drawing the normal. Here this angle of incidence is not greater than the critical angle. It is not 42 degree. So what happens? The ray gets refracted. Since it is moving from denser to rarer, what happens? It moves away from the normal. The ray is moving away from the normal, and here we will be getting the point Q. So I will repeat it once again. We are considering a total reflecting prism, 90 degree, 45, 45. Here PQ is our object, which is an inverted one. We are going to make it erect. So what we are first we are considering a light ray from Q which hits on the face AB. Now this is not a normal incidence. Since the ray of light, a normal incidence is straight point. Since it is not normal incidence, it undergoes refraction here. And since the ray is moving from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. I have drawn the normal, and since it bends towards the normal, without scale, it's very difficult to draw the normal and other lines. Okay, so it bends towards the normal and it hits on the face BC. Okay, and here it makes an angle 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So what happens? The ray undergoes total internal reflection and it reaches the face AC. Here also I have drawn the normal, and here the angle of incidence is less than the critical angle. If it is greater than critical angle, then only refraction will take place. Total internal reflection take place. So here, since the angle of incidence is less than the critical angle, the ray gets refracted into the second medium. So since it is moving from denser to rarer, what happens? It moves away from the normal. Now similarly, we have to consider from the point P. Okay, here also it is moving from a rarer to denser medium. So what happens? Since it is moving from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. It bends towards the normal. Then here it makes an angle 45 degree, which is greater than the critical angle. So it undergoes total internal reflection. Here the angle of incidence is less than the critical angle. So what happens? The ray gets refracted. It moves away from the normal. The ray moves away from the normal. And here I have the point P. So from P to Q we had the arrow mark. So here I will be marking it from P to Q. And this is how the ray gets erected using a total reflecting prism. Actually, when you draw, these two lines should come straight. Okay, here since I am not using the ruler, it's very difficult to draw. It should come like this. It should be in the almost same straight line. So here the ray gets erected using a total reflecting prism. So when you are drawing using a ruler and pencil, then only these measurements will be same. Here the measurements are not exactly equal. The reason is I am not using a ruler. Okay, so using ruler means you will be getting the exact measurement there and you have to draw like that. Okay, so is it clear? Okay, then what about its application? This is used in a projector. Okay, it's used in a projector. So please be thorough with this diagram. You should know how to draw this. So first we will keep the total reflecting prism. Then we will be keeping the object. Light rays should come from the object. Then since it is oblique incidence, the ray bends towards the normal. Then it hits on the base. There it undergoes total internal reflection. Then on the face AC, again it gets refracted and you will be getting the erected image. Q'il നിന്നും വരച്ചത് മുകളിലേക്കും P'il നിന്നും വരച്ചത് താഴേക്കും വരണം. Then only you will be getting the image as erected. Okay. So is it clear? Please draw all these three diagrams in your notebook with the heading. So we have completed total internal reflection through a total reflecting prism or right angled isosceles prism. Okay, so draw it and study. When you draw it many times, then only you will be thorough with this. This portion is very, very important. Clear? You have to study how to draw it plus what is the application. Okay. So thank you children.